A site that was previously ruled out for a shelter village is now in play once again. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Cam River Heritage Park is back on the table as a preferred site for Thunder Bay's proposed temporary shelter village. After a lengthy discussion during last night's meeting at City Hall, the Cumberland Street location, endorsed by Council last week, has instead been rejected. Administration will now compare the Cam River site to another on Fort William Road. Jessica Clement has the latest.
Monday night's long discussion about the proposed temporary shelter village's location has brought City Council back to a previous site that was originally looked at last fall.
To truly help people transition out of encampments, then location truly matters. And I know we say that with each one of these sites, but we need to meet the people where they are today.
At-large councillor Casey Atrainey put forward a referral for city staff to take another look at Cam River Heritage Park. After council members spoke against the Cumberland Street site next to Salvation Army that was put forward by at-large councillor Mark Bentz last week.
There will be very, very few services to help these vulnerable populations at Cumberland.
Even though there's transit accessible out to Cumberland site, I believe that's still a barrier. I believe the lack of infrastructure on the sidewalks, it's an imperfect site.
That Cumberland Street location lost in a 9-4 vote. City staff previously recommended against the Cam River site due to the fact that the costs would exceed the project's $5 million cap, coming in at around $7 million. However, City Manager John Collins says since it'll be a summer construction, and if the city limits the number of units to 80, the cost would be lower.
We believe that we can deliver Cam River Park for somewhere between $5 and probably $5.5 million.
However, Collins stresses that a site decision needs to be made by council no later than the first week of May, or will still risk losing the $2.8 million DSAB funding.
We are out of time if it goes beyond 5 May. There is no path forward. We have some ways where we believe that 5 May would be the absolute latest, and we will still be able to achieve the timelines such that we do not lose the provincial funding for failure to meet timeline.
The debate brought up the various benefits of the Cam River site, including the fact that it's closer to services and amenities and is a place that's already an encampment. However, councillors also had some concerns.
What I have issues with is the isolation of that Cam River site. It's across multiple train tracks. It's adjacent to a rail yard. It contains an elevated boardwalk in which people can fall into a river, and it's more difficult to get out.
Atrainey's referral passed 10-3. City staff will now compare the proposed Cam River site and the LRCA-owned Fort William Road site and bring back a report to council at their April 28th meeting. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Thunder Bay is one step closer to the construction of a major new retail warehouse and gas bar at the corner of Golf Links Road and Central Avenue, but the developer still won't confirm whether it is in fact a long-awaited Costco. Toby Singlehurst with Forum Properties spoke at a public meeting at City Hall last night. He did answer council questions about how much new tax revenue the development will bring in.
Given our history operating similar type properties in the city itself, we would expect the annual taxation on realty taxes to be somewhere in excess of $1 million annually.
Signs went up on the property last month, sparking plenty of speculation about Costco. But residents who made deputations about the property last night were discouraged from referring to the company by name. 3 out of the 5 people who spoke were opposed to the site location, citing concerns about increased traffic volumes and potential environmental impacts. City Engineering Manager Aaron Ward, however, notes a traffic study indicates that roads like Golf Links, Central, and Innovation Drive wouldn't exceed their capacity.
So as of the last traffic count, the average annual daily traffic was around, I'll double check, 23,000 vehicles per day. And when we looked at the 4-laning study for Golf Links, we were projecting far in the future, and that was at around 33,000 to 35,000 vehicles per day. So we're around 70%, give or take, of that volume.
Councillors unanimously passed the requested zoning amendments for the project, but there's no word on when construction might begin. Confederation College's suspension of 11 programs this fall has prompted backlash, particularly regarding the culinary management course. College officials hosted a town hall meeting about that program last night to hear from the community and explain the high cost and enrollment downturn. Brendan Miller was there.
When these people start to leave the industry or move on, where are they going to come from? Because it won't be here. And it's really unfortunate for the college to look at that and say, well, this is tough right now. And their idea was to shut the door.
The suspension of the culinary management program has the restaurant and hospitality sector of Thunder Bay up in arms. Dozens of people from the industry came to this town hall meeting to voice their concerns and displeasure with how the suspension was handled. Overall, the lack of communication from the college to the community is what upset everyone the most.
And the decision to cut this program without any consultation with the folks that are dedicated employees of the college system, who have been doing this work for a long, long time, including the Program Advisory Committee, is a significant error.
During the meeting, college representatives went over the reasons why the culinary program is being suspended. They showed how enrollment has dropped, and year after year, the program has run a roughly $300,000 deficit. Academic Vice President Aaron Skillen provided a PowerPoint presentation showing how government cuts regarding international students will impact them financially.
From a financial standpoint as well, as enrollment goes down, the related tuition revenue for those students goes down as well. So from an international standpoint, that was significant and has impacted our budget overall.
College officials point out this is only a suspension of the program, not a cut or cancellation. The attendees say if this was a money issue to begin with, they would have offered their help before things reached this point. College Dean Richard Gemmell says there's possibly a way to eventually bring the program back, but they're unsure how to get there yet.
So do I think that there's a way forward? I do. I really do. But it's going to take some conversations. And that isn't going to be finished tonight. We're not going to solve all the world's issues tonight. But I am confident that we can have a conversation in the very near future to talk about what do you need and how can we deliver it in such a way that, one, meets your needs, and two, doesn't put us in a financially unviable situation moving forward.
People left the town hall still upset about the late decision to suspend the program, the lack of communication, and for the college not asking for help beforehand. But now, moving forward, there will be a lot of work for local restaurants to fill any voids this program will leave behind for the time being. Brendan Miller, TBT News.
We continue our look now at the federal election candidates in Thunder Bay Rainy River. Yuksem Wan is making her third run at the riding for the NDP. She says the strong connections she's made during previous campaigns make her the best choice for area voters. Jonathan Wilson has tonight's candidate profile.
Yuksem Wan is no stranger to voters in Thunder Bay Rainy River. In her first federal election run in 2019, she had a strong showing with more than 11,000 votes to finish a close third behind the winner, Marcus Pulowski. Then in 2021, it was a similar story as Wan took home nearly 11,000 votes and had another close third-place finish. She says she decided to run for a third time, not just to campaign, but to finally win the riding for the NDP.
So I started this journey in 2019 when I ran just to build community and make sure that the people were well represented in Parliament. In 2021, I continued that, being able to go out to all the communities, really connect with the people, the organizations, and the businesses. So now in 2025, I'm here to make sure that there are new Democrats in Parliament and that I am the voice for Northwestern Ontario.
When she's not running in elections, Wan works as an OPSU labor law negotiator and convention coordinator. She's also an instructor at Confederation College and is a married mother of 5 children. She says her main priority, if elected, is addressing Canada's struggling economy while also looking out for those who need support.
With the threat from the U.S. as well as the tariffs and really sustaining the Canadian economy. So the top issue has to be uniting Canada together to be able to sustain this and come out of it stronger, while still maintaining what makes us Canadian. So where are the supports for the people, the families, the workers, and that's where New Democrats shine.
Juan says what sets her apart from the other candidates in this election is being part of the NDP, a party she feels is always there for the people. As for her personal attributes, Juan describes herself as a solid, dedicated, and articulate leader.
People know who I am as a leader, that I not only am able to connect with the NDP, but also with the people that are looking to me for leadership. So I come with the connections, I come with the work ethics and the ability to really get out there and represent the people.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
And tomorrow we'll meet Brendan Hyatt, the Conservative candidate in Thunder Bay Rainy River. Flipping over to provincial politics now, it was a big day at Queen's Park. The speech from the throne was delivered this afternoon, outlining the Ford government's priorities during this legislative session. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the details.
It's a distinctly Canadian tradition. The speech from the throne, a tone setting for the legislative session ahead. This playbook has one name all over it.
President Trump's approach to tariffs has been, in a word, chaotic.
The U.S. president mentioned 12 times as progressive conservatives lay out a different sort of relationship with our neighbors to the south.
The strength of Ontario's economy and the social programs it funds can no longer depend on a partner that has proven itself to be fundamentally unreliable.
With that in mind, the government's promising to keep up discussions with Americans, but
your government will take a radically different approach to the way things have been done.
Something that sounds alarm bells for the leader of the opposition.
Rather than seeing a path ahead, we're seeing, I think, a race to the bottom.
The government will move to eliminate all trade barriers between Ontario and other provinces, and to immediately recognize credentials earned elsewhere in Canada.
No restrictions, no red tape, just free trade within Canada.
There's also a promise to accelerate critical mineral extraction in the Ring of Fire and a broader streamlining of the environmental assessment process. The minister in charge believes growth and environmental protection can go hand in hand, but it shouldn't take years to get a permit.
That's just not going to work. Paychecks, jobs, the prosperity of the province and the country depends upon it.
The Greens say they want to collaborate, but warn
we're not going to allow this government to use the threat of tariffs to dismantle the environmental assessment process.
The Liberal leader calls the speech underwhelming, missing moves to
make life more affordable for average Ontarians. And for me, that means tax cuts.
There is a vague mention about unlocking new homes, but absent is the previous pledge to build 1.5 million homes by 2031.
I'm laser focused on the next 12 to 24 months to make sure we get this kick-started again.
Even though Ontario has missed every benchmark along the way, the minister thinks it is an achievable goal.
Sure it is.
Promising a new housing bill sometime this session.
That was CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. Nearly 2 years after a suspicious death at a First Nation just outside of Kenora, OPP have now made an arrest. 45-year-old Ronald Stone from Wajishkoniggum Nation has been charged with second-degree murder. The victim was 77-year-old Victor Lange from Sioux Narrows Township. On April 22, 2023, OPP and Treaty 3 police responded to a call on Powwow Island Road where they found the deceased. The accused is being held in custody pending a court appearance. Police have expressed thanks to the community members who provided information that helped the investigation. Fort Frances OPP and Treaty 3 police are investigating after a school bus rolled over on Highway 611 in Alberton Township this morning. There were students on board at the time, but fortunately, police say there were no apparent injuries. No other vehicles were involved, and the cause of the crash hasn't yet been determined. Circle K is asking city police for help to deal with rampant crime at its Thunder Bay convenience stores. A delegation from the company spoke at this morning's monthly Police Services Board meeting. Justin Hardy reports.
A lot of the staff are afraid to go to work just because they don't know who's coming through the door.
Representatives from Circle K convenience stores prepared a report for the board that says the rising incidents of theft, assault, and robbery within local stores are severely hindering the ability to maintain a safe and profitable business environment. In Thunder Bay, the corporation has lost over $200,000 to theft and robbery. The 3 worst hit of the 13 stores in the city are the locations on North Cumberland Street, James Street South, and Arthur Street. The Arthur location alone lost over $80,000 last year, according to the report. Regional Manager Dave Lane says they are trying their best to combat growing crime.
We try and report as much as we can. Unfortunately, we're not getting everyone that's walking through those doors. Our operators are spending a couple hours a day going through videos, trying to fill out the reports, but there are instances where people are afraid to go to work and haven't been. And we're just trying to work with police to try and figure a way to make it a safe environment for them to go to work.
The company is asking the police board to work with them to put an end to rampant crime in their stores. They suggest possible measures like having police park in front of stores during downtime. Police Chief Darcy Fleury informed the delegates that wouldn't be feasible as officers have very little downtime when on patrol. He did say he would try to help the stores find better solutions they can implement themselves.
Environmental design, and taking a look at how they're set up and having a look at those types of things and give them some ideas on how to better maybe secure their areas and be aware of people coming in and what to sort of expect when they do see people that are maybe acting a bit abnormal or doing some criminal activity. Just an awareness piece on their part. As I mentioned today, those calls to service will be prioritized as every other call is. And depending on the situation, our response will be equal to what it is.
Justin Hardy, TBT News.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to the weather now. And Fiona, really consistent temperatures over the past 24 hours or so. Unfortunately, those temperatures have been on the chilly side, given largely due to the high winds.
Yes, they've been below normal. We've been ranging from about -1 to +3, so that's a 4-degree difference. We usually see a little bit more difference between our nighttime and our daytime, but one of the things that kept things feeling quite cool were those winds gusting up to almost 60 kilometers an hour. That made things kind of interesting as you headed out. Keeping also things a little bit icy in some areas. Remember, there is actually a good thing with that, though, because it slows down the melting process so that the ground has time to soak up some of the water as it melts and then freezes and just does it slowly so we don't end up with a lot of flooding. But if we take a look what's going on in the region, there is warmer air pushing in from the west. They're comfortably on the plus side, almost seasonal, if not at seasonal levels. Red Lake currently at their high for the day of 5, 6 in Kenora, 5 in Fort Francis. Lots of sunshine to the west. Now to the east, we head towards the freezing mark and then slip below it. Armstrong at 1, -2 in Greenstone. They had snow, then cloud all afternoon. The snow continues this evening and wind chills are hovering around -9. In fact, Greenstone hasn't broken the freezing mark at all today. Along the northern and eastern shores of Lake Superior, they're also below the freezing mark, or the Sioux, sitting right on the Goose Egg, has a wind chill of -7. They've had snow for most of the day, and winds have been gusting about 65 kilometers per hour from the northwest. So very blustery as this system moves out. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, it's going to be quite a bit cooler tonight, -9. Winds will continue to be pretty gusty for much of this evening, about 50 and then it will start to taper off a little bit overnight down to about 20 kilometers an hour, still from the northwest as skies clear out. -9, but a wind chill of -13. So it'll be a cool start to the week, or to Wednesday, sorry. But we are slowly making our way toward more seasonal values, and I'll have more details on how that will pan out later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona. We don't mind those cool ones midweek. It's as we move toward the weekend that we want to see things.
Higher temperatures.
We want to see things
Brian
improve
wants to
a
wear
little
shorts
bit.
on the weekend.
Absolutely, yes. It is not too early. All right, thanks a lot.